of 2021, 22, 23. We're just going to do a summary of this. It's impossible to go through the reports themselves. And why the leak? Let me address that bit first. The Auditor General Office, we all know we now understand what led to the decision taken by President Barrow's administration to really try to move the Auditor General Modus Cisse. I'm emphasizing that Modus Cisse still should be termed as the Auditor General because it's a legitimate permanent person to be addressed as the Auditor General. To bring in a new person to take over the office of the Auditor General. Now, Gambians were wondering, some were wondering, but we all knew it must be to do with that wanting to get to control over that oversight institution. But now, and to the level they went to do that, to illegally, physically removed, not following any due process, made Gambians even to worry more. What do these people really have to hide? And the evidence have come out. In a sense, the period, God knows when they started this, but within the short period that the Auditor General Modus Cisse was, to have prepared to submit, almost completed the 2023 audits, to submit, he was removed. Now, Chernobyl was put in place illegally. And within that short period, a week or so, they went over, in fact, to tamper with the reports. Tamper with the reports. The report sent to Parliament is completely different. It's not an authentic report. The report that is now circulating, that's the authentic report. Can we just take a moment to think about this? Now government is fraudulently putting false documents, because they are false documents, as for now, to House of Parliament. They soften the language from the original. They remove names from the original. They even doctored figures from the original. Now this vindicated the people that were saying Barrow is onto something. We have given precedence and explained where it happened. When he takes these decisions, why he does. Now especially coming to the National Audit Office. And a bureau that is really protected by the Constitution, by law, for its independence. For its independence because of how important it is. And he had to do something illegal to take control over it. And when he took control over it, we have the evidence now. This is what he's doing. We compare. The first thing to note, our observation is, the report is a confirmation of what we have been saying all these past years. Every itemized area or department mentioned in the reports, it's something that Gambians has discoursed, major platform has discoursed: corruption, mismanagement, fraudulent transactions, over and over again. The only difference here is the audit report is official. The audit report is very authentic in a sense. It's done by professional. It's completely detailed. They have access to verify and so on. And the final difference between what we were saying and what's present in the audit report is our expectations were even lowered. Our allegations were even diminished. It was just like, because obviously we were rational, and we don't have access to everything. It reflects our competence there. But this is showing that we were talking about millions. Now, actually, it's billions. Billions. We are talking about billions now. This is money that is over the national budget. Just for us to comprehend them, the magnitude of this crime. But again, the way and manner the government went around to remove the Auditor General, it was an indication, as we thought. Now, it's a confirmation that if, especially, not if, when Channel Soul is brought in place to replace Modou Cissé, and within the set period, it's gone over to do the devil's work. To do the devil's work. Imagine if he stays in that position and continue. What would this person present to us? Again, like I said, let's remember this is not about Modou Cissé. This is about the office. Yes, Modou have a role, significant presence in this because of his resistance and the show of integrity. That's why we are aware of what is happening now. But to protect the office is to protect our interests. It's to protect our interests. Now imagine if this person stays on 2024, 2025. And something would be realized that the election year is always a period that they raid our coffers even more. And we all know the reason for that is to actually to buy our elections. Now, we are in this position. It's a grave period in our life. It's only Gambia this thing will happen. And noticeably, apart from social media, technically all gone silence. The politicians as if they're taking a vacation, and many of the civil society gone into silence. We understand Gala, we understand Gomsa Bopa, we understand Edward Francis Small. They are putting out there what they can put out there, but they are overwhelmed. We have almost 100 civil society organizations, and most of them are counting on accountability. And this is the threat. This is actually putting poison in the in the circulation systems. A poison that we will breathe, the poison that will be within our blood to put entire. This is exactly what is happening. And we haven't seen the outrage from the politicians, but we get to that. But it's interesting to note that the audit report have revealed a total complicity of institutions and oversight bodies. Institutions, the central bank, and any other oversight body out there, the boards of directors that are overseeing companies or NGOs. The parastatals, ministers and their departments, especially finance and trade and so on and so forth. Complicit of all other institutions that matters in running our state. The other part is we have seen the evidence of what the audit report have pointed to and the people that it pointed to, people that have responsibility to manage these finances, people that have been given contracts or benefited from this or took part in this transaction, we have seen the evidence on them. They all are multimillionaires. That's why it become a billions. It become billions. They are all millionaires. The sitting guys are millionaires. I can't even start to count. The contractors that have never been contractors or know nothing about contracts are millionaires. Driving very powerful, expensive vehicles, building multiple properties, sending their children into very expensive institutions for education and whatever it is, vacations, and so on and so forth. Living a very expensive lifestyle, it's from our money. The audit reports are indicative of that. The generation wealth building, we all seen it now. The Amadou Sanis, nephew of Barrow, overnight millionaires. Mohamed Jais, let's go. The contractors or the business people like Jaoel. This person, Jaoel, who comes out on us, speaking very quietly, telling us, man buguma alele government, as if he's a poised person. What about those duty waivers that you are not entitled? You are already given a monopoly. You have given a monopoly in government loans. You have been given monopoly in the markets and everything, and you are giving waivers. What's the price of cement today? What's the point of that monopoly? What's the price of roads? What's the price of anything that Jaoel or people like him that benefited from these waivers? They're all gone to the roof. What was point for those waivers? The evidence, as we had pointed before, to the multiple sophisticated or big buildings built by the NPP. It's an evidence from these audit reports. In many ways, we'll explain some kickbacks from the contracts given to them, the overpriced contracts. We are seeing the evidence of it. To the extent of these incompetent criminals like NPP now trying to cover up, to launder money for the coming elections, going to Spain and coming out to say that, oh, they did a fundraising in Spain and they scored 24 million. That's a lie. It's a blue lie. It's money laundering. They're trying to justify things like this when it appears on the report. Again, no, NPP are raising their funds. It's a lie. They cannot raise that money in Spain overnight. It's a lie. If it is a pledge, it's a lie. If they say they collect it, it's a lie. It's all done to this thing. The entire diaspora, in fact, if they have gone every corner of it, they will not have reached 24 million. They're using these tactics, part of the tactics. All the fundraising they're doing in Gambia is a lie. They're not making money out of it. It's just a smoke screen. Their money are coming from our coffers in the mean ways by, giving contracts to people that are sponsoring them. Allowing the law enforcement agencies to look the other way when criminals act in drug dealings and others, they get their cut from it. It's a criminal cartel we have. The cabal we have in government. We have that evidence. For President Barrow to come out to say that, and NPP chairman Una Nyang approached him and some community leaders in Serekunda to ask for donation to build a mosque, the Serekunda mosque. He just had to pick up his phone. The first person he called, straight away said yes. They're going to donate to do it. They pledged 10 million. Another person pledged to do it. And the bigger fish turned around to say, no, let nobody do anything. I'll do it all. Over $30 million. That's a lie, Mr. President. That's a lie, Mr. President. And for the president not to drop names, keeping them as anonymous donors. Let's say this. If business people give money, in most cases, they're expecting something back. Especially if they give money to a politician. If these business people came out and went and gave money to secondary people, we might say they're doing it from their good place. If we don't know them of doing anything illegal, we say thank you, thank you. If Ababakar Jawar give money to anybody, that's why Ababakar praise singers, Jawel praise singers, and all these praise singers here, this is what you are taking from us. The money they're giving to you is from us, because they are all criminals. That's why they're sponsoring the state. If they go to communities and give, and we know that they are not criminals, we will have nothing but to say thank you. For the president to say that, he have a direct line, a speed dial, to call for donations, and those anonymous donors say, I will give 10 million, 15 million. For a businessman, that can give you 30 million in the Gambia. How much tax that person should pay a year to be able to give you 30 million? Tell me which businessman you think of who is not linked to Barrow, commonly linked to Barrow, can give you 30 million for a mosque. All of these people, none. If that person give you 30 million because of he is taking $1 billion out of us, this is how they do it. If there's even an anonymous donor, probably it's already taken out from our budget, somehow, some way. Just like in the case of Mama Jabi. Oh, Barrow has so shocked, is a lie. We knew it was a lie. We knew it was a lie. Now, to say that anonymous donor give you 30 million, it's a lie. It's our money. If the person said he'd give you money from their money, it's our money. Because we know that that person is putting that 30 million because they're going to get $1 billion back in contracts and orders. The other evidence we have seen the flood in Welingara or somewhere. Areas that have never flooded before. And we have seen it turn to an ocean. Not even a river, like an ocean. That vehicles are floating. Because of what? When we said it, the OIC roads, no drainage, no, and let me emphasize this. When we talk about drainage, we are not talking about just a gutter. Gutter is part of a drainage, but gutter is not drainage. What does it mean? Drainage means a mechanism that collects overflowing water, transport overflowing water to minimize damage or prevent damage, and deposits overflowing water to environment that it can be used for, probably to recycle it, to a reservoir, or to even a wetland, and so on and so forth. That's what a drainage is. You cannot build roads in populated environments. You see in highways in Gambia, Africa, even highways, what they do, they just make sure the water goes away because it's wetlands all over the place. Even the gutterings, they just put small gutterings just to make sure, or they build the roads in a way and manner that no water would not stay on the road, it will go on the sides. But in a development, this most populated, and Africa, one of the most populated, that's what Serekunda is. It's one of the most populated settlements. You build all over networks of roads without drainage. And drainage was paid for. Drainage system was paid for. The IEC, OIC road budgets keep mounting, and none of the infrastructure or essential built-in infrastructure was done. Or the ones even done are not fit for purpose. They are still prone to people causing accidents. Because of what? The consultancy, everything else was corrupt. And we are seeing it now, and they're taking more loans on our behalf, again, to dig canals. They're building gutters. They're still not doing a drainage system. All that water could have been harvested into reservoirs that it could be used for agriculture, could be used for many other things, can be recycled back into these things. That's another evidence of that the money we see missing, billions missing, that's where it's gone. They stole that money and they give it to their contractors. And do you know, people fought. The cellular union is Halimu Bari, I think. The contract given to Halimu Bari, or the lot, they call it the lot, they given to Halimu Bari. Part of it is Barrow himself. One of the Barrow cooks was put into that contract. And these people started using falsified names in their invoices. Names that did not exist. They learned all this from Senegal. If you follow this investigation in Senegal, what they're uncovering, this is exactly what is happening in our country. They are falsifying our declare our debt. These are all things that we say. The evidence of political patronage is in this audit reports. Hardim guys, Jar Oils, name them. All the people you hear name, are all linked to what? The NPP. But this is political patronage. And I want to come to something very controversial. And I just want people just to listen very carefully what I'm here to say. I want to dispel this tribalism mentioned in this. Some people observed, and I know for good reason why those people observe tribalism in the reports. But I don't think it's so. Why am I trying to caveat here? I know myself, I won't shy away from it. I believe there's a Fula hegemony. I believe there's a Mandinka hegemony. I believe there's a Fana hegemony. I believe there are different Sarahula hegemony and other hegemonies all surrounding Barrow. I believe that. It's evident, it's proven. What I don't believe is that these hegemonies represent the tribe they come from. Because what is happening today, in consequences that Barrow is winning, in fact, they are affected. The poor agricultural yield, because of the corruption in fertilizer, the corruption of appointing an incompetent imbecile. Yes, I add imbecile in it, because that's how he behaves. It's affecting the entire population, not only Mandinkas, Wolof, and Jolas. It's affecting the tribe he said he belongs to, and so on and so forth. What we will identify and understand from this, let us not fall for the politician card. That's what they want. They want to use tribe to divide us, unsettle us, while they continue to do their, criminal act. We as informed people should make sure we don't fall for it. We should need to inform the people who are not informed that they take advantage of. When they go out there, they know where they throw their tribal strategies. If they come to us, we should not allow that. We should not fall for that. Let us be very careful when we look at something. If we not agree, we understand the population of the Gambia is made largely of Mandinka Fullers. Then there's another angle of it, the influence of Wolofs. You know, because you have to understand the power of influence. You might have the percentage of Wolof less, but they have influence. That can even make it as, which have a tripart of Wolof Mandinka districts as the most populated districts, or as a par. Influence is very important. Linguistic is very important, especially when it comes to commerce, trade, and administration. This is why we used to have a population of Aku 1.5, and we can see them there because of the privilege they had in education and the language of administration and so on. They were there. Now let's come to this. Why did I say that? If you take the case of seeing the surnames, that can be related to the Fuller tribe. In the Jana Commission property buying, you see the surnames. If you take that, if you look at these audit reports, where people, from these Fuller tribes coming up, straight away, you might just say that, oh, the entire corruption is, or a barrow is just entirely benefiting his Fuller family. I say his Fuller family because, culturally, or his parental side. But now, imagine that the first lady is at, because they raise now the position of first lady to be there. She appoints, she gives contracts, she negotiates contracts, she influences contracts. And you have two first ladies who are Fullers. Now, if you take these people, their quota in their criminal enterprise, they are bound to have a big portion in it. This is why you are saying, because most of these people are related to the president or the wives, and they are connected. But they are not benefiting any single Fuller community or anything else. It's their families they are benefiting. We look at the same thing. If you look at the other angle, who are the strategic ministers delivering this? Do you understand the wealth that Boasedi have now, the governor of Central Bank? He's not Fuller. Do you understand Finance Minister Keita, the wealth he has now, since he became minister? Do you understand the orders? Do you understand Yankuba Dama of GRA? You see how much wealth these people have. Their wealth is for their families and people that help them to steal from us, but not for their tribe. And you find out all these people are intermarried. Most of them are intermarried. All three of these people, three Mandinkas I talked to, they all have wives from different backgrounds. Now, if they benefit their wife, they are benefiting extension of those, wife's family. But they are not doing it because of the tribe of the wife. They are not doing it because, no, this explains again, it's more about nepotism, more about cronism, more about political patronage. If you look at it, Musa Drame and the Sahulu contractors and others, even though they are not much, They are not much in the administration, but in the business sector, they are. But is Musa Drame benefiting the Southwest for that? No. Go and look at what happened along Hare and other places. We are all affected. We can go on. Moduke Sise and his network of farmers. Then we should wise up for them not to deflect us, to be attacking tribes and destabilizing us just for them to reorganize and to steal our elections along these lines. What we should do is be careful to read. If we can't, let's give it to people who can do it better. All the analysis, I didn't even bother. The analysis I'm sharing on Open Gambia, bringing it, dumbing it down to bringing it on, is done by an expert. I would be useless to tell you that I can do anything close to that. No, I don't have the competency. I can read, I can understand a bit, but I cannot give you numbers as it is. I have an expert who volunteered to do this. What we can understand, let's make sure we keep on to that. And let us not fall for the politics of it. It's a political patronage. It's about nepotism. For these people to allow to do this, they are all from all our tribes. But because of, again, you can see the proportion difference. You have to look at that in population. You can look at that of the share of it. If you have Barrow, Barrow's family. Half of Barrow's family are Sane and others. John and others. These are the things we have to understand. The silence from political parties, actors, and only pounding on Barrow. When I look at this report, and I look around, you can see the selectiveness. Even with, social media activists or social media contributors. How far do they go to avoid naming any other person responsible apart from Barrow's administration? They just go blanket Barrow administration. They would not talk about Kesa. They would talk about MKCC. They will not talk about Boiseli. And it's interesting that even their pictures, that's why I go to an effort, when I look at the report, I look at the most responsible, I put their pictures out there, and they don't like it, I can tell you. It brings attention to them. And see how why our part of the press, part of the activists or whatever it is will go to avoid. Go and find out. To see Yankuba Dabo GRA. Whenever you see GRA, Yankuba Dabo's big pictures, beautiful pictures, it's because of, it's a PR. Not to hold him accountable. Politicians, you will not hear a politician. I mean a politician. Hold on. I don't say parsley mention. And even that is very rare. Parsley mention Yankuba Dabo GRA. Very rare thing to happen. What they will do is, yes, GRA are stealing us. Who is in charge? Call him out. They will not. They will not. You write a report where GRA is permanent. Put Yankuba Dabo's picture in it. They will not. They put Barrow, or they put the audit, or they try to even put the building of GRA. The building is not responsible for what happened. There are people responsible. Even where people are named, Jar Oil, you will not see them put Jar Oil's picture. You will not see them put Ababakar Jawara's picture. No. Because it's easy just to say Barrow administration. But the silence, magnitude of corruption from a National Audit Office. In fact, a leak, because of the official one channeled to the Parliament, it's doctored. A leaked one. The politicians have access to this. I know platforms, some political platforms are disoriented right now because of their internal politics. But it comes a time certain things take precedence. Certain things takes precedence. They're just they're all gone silence. UDP cannot take excuse to say that, oh, because of our leader have traveled. Or because we are dealing with internal party politics. How to call it? The Taliban Surah. A perfect opportunity when you have come out to address a movement, you dodge away the word accountability, dodge away the word corruption, you dodge away to say, point people to look at the audit reports. They all dodge away from the audit reports. When you've been hounded for years, for months, for days, some been testifying, have the courage then to come out. For UDP, waiting for what? Until things cool down and everything, and come and give a passing press statement or press conference, these things, and move on without this thing. They should have been dedicated today. Call out for a press conference for Honorable Halifa Saleh. And some supporters say, yeah, but he have been tired saying this. That's not an excuse. If you are tired of politics, leave politics. They're expecting Gala. They're expecting Gala to come out. They're expecting Gumsa Bopper to come out. They're expecting Edward's Fancy Small to continue to advocate. And the politicians who want to vow for power, are they telling us that they want to replace Barrow, but they don't want to bring about change? If this cannot be an outrage, and when people talk about, no, when we have leaders like, we don't have leaders like Sonko. This is where the difference is. This is why Sonko become who he is. Not because of his jola, not because of his educated, not because of anything else. But he have the courage and priority to prioritize national issues, to come out and call it out. He is known for taking up audit reports, pointing to audit reports in Parliament and outside Parliament, and calling out for people to come and stand. People to come and stand. For SFR, just to sit down, go to a TikTok platform or go to Twitter just to be asked certain vague positions. Why can't they call for a press conference when now is heated? Call for a press conference and address it as it is. Call out the name of business people in it. Call out the ministers. You don't hear these people call them spoiling this country. What are you going to do with them when you take over? What are you going to do with them when you take over? Business as usual. Mama Kande. I can go on the list. They're all quiet. Or they will come with a passing statements. Or after a month or two, they'll come with a distance. No. This would have been opportunity for the politicians to call out the decision of taking out the Auditor General, Modus stand up to ask for that reinstatement, yes, going through the courts. As if things are going to the courts, politicians don't have, that's a lie. Legal cases go. Go and see how the British fight the Brexit. When a private citizen take it to herself, to take it to the Supreme Court, people came out and had the decisions against Parliament. And we expect change. If we want to effect something, we have to really be out there, not just to go on platforms just to vaguely address something and just pound on Barrow, as if Barrow is the one doing it. Yes, Barrow is the one telling to do it, but those people doing it, we have to call them out. You don't hear the central bank governor. You don't hear GRA. You don't hear Kesa. You don't hear the other ministers being called out. But it's easy for them to pound on Ismail Assisi. They want to pound on Barrow. But the people heading these institutions, the illegal appointed Auditor General, these are the things we need to tackle. Until we have those sort of leaders, Gambians will be very reluctant. And you don't blame them for not coming out. The day Gambians will come out, there will be no leader for them. They will come out because of the desperation. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We have seen it in Morocco now. We have seen it in the other things, the genders coming out because of the lack of, this is the situation their country face. Go to Morocco, there's no politician that have it in themselves to stand up. Yeah, you go to Morocco, see how beautiful the cities are and everything else. You'll be surprised that 2% of the population control that. And 1% of that population is the king and his, king's men. And the other 1% is the billionaires and the Jewish lobbyists. Then the youths come out. Go to Madagascar and other places. This is why they came out. If the youth would, have to do this, it's because of the politicians are absent. And we are seeing the manipulation to Parliament. This is why, especially when political parties cannot control or have no influence on their MPs, instead of, that's why you should take the lead from the outside. We all seen Parliament is trying to absent themselves. Parliament is trying to, in fact, looking at voting their benefits and so on. This is what they're looking at. We should not rest on Parliament. They have betrayed us, continue to betray us. What next? If we have a situation like this, where people say, oh, it's a mere allegations, oh, it's a mere allegations. For all these years, 2021 to now, I understand audit reports come a year after. But we are in 2025. But we know now and appreciate the challenges the audit report, the auditors, the audit office. And let me say this very clearly. Credit goes to Modu Sisi. But there are dedicated people in the audit office that stood with Modu Sisi to do the right thing. But in every system, you have those right people, people doing the right thing. That's how you have the people that would despise this Modu Sisi and did not want the right thing to be done. And now they are in cahoot with Chernusol. These are the people who went and doctored the audit reports, already prepared. And they had the opportunity to complete the 2023 and they doctored it. And I'll tell you something. Already, the forensic report on NAWEC has been finalized. And it's going to be shared in a few days' time. It's going to be shared in a few days' time. The ongoing forensic assignment on GPPC, GGC are at the advanced level. Guess what? So, and this cohort are trying to interfere with that audit. And so far, there's resistance. So far, there's resistance. Now, if the people within the system are resisting, trying to do good, and you don't see the politicians coming out to hold the accountability, what do you expect? What do we expect? Would they have the endurance, the courage to continue? And for the politicians just to come around elections and give us promises when they cannot. If a politician should earn a government, it has been proven in opposition. For a politician to earn a government should be proven in opposition, because of what they do in opposition will tell you what they will do in government. They will do in government. The NAWEC, when they get to how damaging it would be. The GGC means that company again, that stole our rice and gave it to Barras. Listen, what did the name of the company again? National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation. And the systems within the GRA refusing to be audited. But when we look at our observation, would take us to an amount of tax declared. What the report will indicate that the tax declared every time they clap and they do their ceremonies to reward, they're all lying. It's all fake. The tax declared and tax collected is completely different. That's why they're multimillionaires. This is why you go to business and establish business in Gambia, thinking that you are going to compete in the market. You are fooling yourself. You are going there to do things right. Some of them are using their business front for drug traffic money laundering. Some of them are relying on government corruption. Others are doing all that and relying on the government corruption on taxation. How can other businesses compete? That's why most of the people from the diaspora that have learned very good ethics try to do business in Gambia, they fail. Because the condition is not conducive for a good businessman to practice. The taxation, the amount of money should be collected. They are not collecting it. But the money even collected, we celebrate, are not going to the people. Taxation without representation. They're going to the people. We've seen the conditions in the country. Now and that's nothing. Schools, everything is underfunded. And with the money revealed, Gambia should have been an utopia. Gambia should have been. Just think about the amount of money they're talking about with the population of the Gambia. And let me say this again. When they tell you that someone has stolen $1 billion, in 2021. Imagine if that billion was invested in a productive sector. If that billion was invested to train youths, if that billion was invested in youth development, if that billion was invested in the police to be professionalized, if that billion was invested in the medical sector, that would be additional to already budget given, and so on and so on. The change would be. In fact, imagine if that billion was saved in a high current tax interest accounts. They have not stolen a billion in 2021. You have to almost put millions on that billions that they have make us lost. And even the lives that are the people that have failed education because of the lack of investment, those billions they stolen from us. For the people that have died in hospital because of those billions taken away. For people that die in hunger or live in indignity because of those billions taken from them. People begging. They can't survive anymore. Teachers begging, nurses begging, police begging. Because they can't survive. Indignity forced on them. People sacrificing to save us. What will bring about this change? What will bring about this change? I'll tell you one thing is, let us stop to be partisan. I'm not saying not belong to political parties. But now it's becoming a habit that we are trying to compare bad and evil. We try to excuse anything or fail to promote anything that would, but that is progressive because our biases of political parties. Political parties are institutions that we should ride on within our governance systems to bring about change and good governance. Political parties should not be reduced to elements of fighting each other or trying to ridicule each other. We should take this serious. Especially those who are informed or supposed to be informed that these are serious matters to be taken seriously. The indicators in these reports tells you a complete failed state, and it's going to get worse. 12 reports are going to come worse. The projects, the poor projects they take in, political projects they enter into themselves, the programs they have or lack of programs they have, at times you say no programs because the government does not tell you their development program. There's nothing like a development program. It's just pinty panta, one from there, to whatever you think politically will work for them. Where they can raise money, they do something, that's all they do. That's not sustainable. This is not about development. We are just walking to complete crisis. This is what we should be understanding. Complete crisis in that country, that's what we are walking to. And people will say, oh, Bukonyan. I share something today. Let me just say, to give context to it. I said the new change influences after Nepal, Generation Z is stirring up rebellion across borders from Morocco to Madagascar. Where next? You see, and these are informed people, starting to inbox me to say, oh, you should not be using the word rebellion. as not, even if you are not sure of the definition of rebellion, read the context. I am referring to Genesis. Have anyone ever seen me glorify a military takeover or glorify any military leader? I despise. Even with this Pan-African euphoria and everything, I am against any form of changing government forcefully, unless that government is a dictatorship. I am against popular uprising to change government, because I know the challenges it takes, especially when it's not prudent. Even when we can take a more prudent way and manner to change government without causing that uproar or destruction or any loss of life. This is how progressive we should think. But straight away they jump to the one word: rebellion. They miss the word new influences, means to influence. They lose the word after Nepal. Nepal was not an armed struggle. Then that should tell you, then rebellion might mean something else, not only an armed struggle. They miss the word General Genesis. I've never heard of General Genesis taking arms to overthrow a government or any form. And they heard about Morocco. They should be, if they can look at this post and have a problem with it and tell me that they don't know what's happening in Morocco, that says a lot about them then. Or Madagascar. And what next? And this is about the supposedly informed. What we meant is the facts. Let's avoid it. The only reason the youths are out there fighting to the point that they say, no, it's enough, we want this government to go, is because of the frustration and the lack of political progress. If politics was progressing, there would not be need for that. And this is the situation we are in Gambia. If you guys bear me a minute, let me open this and do a quick read on the analysis shared by my brother Modu Jallo in Washington. He's a finance analyst, and he had been doing brilliant work behind the scenes. Part one, there's about eight parts. I've shared about 6 for now, but there's about 8. Then there's another analysis he's doing for other reports that are just coming out. For 3, he said part 1, part 1 of the audit report breakdown for every Gambian. For 3 consecutive years, 2021, 22, 23, the Auditor General has been sounding the alarm. Billions of dollars belonging to the people of the Gambia are missing, misused, or mismanaged. Year after year, the Auditor General has delivered the worst possible verdict on the government financial statements. Adverse opinions, meaning the accounts are so riddled with error, misstatements, and irregularity that they cannot be trusted. Yes, instead of being tabled in the National Assembly for debate and accountability, these damning reports were deliberately kept from the public, hidden from the very people whose money is at stake. As 2026 approaches, Gambians deserve to know how their taxes, donor aids, and national resources have been handled. If memories serve us right, the last time an audit report was tabled in the Parliament was 2020. Since then, President Adama Barrow government kept the reports hidden until mounting pressure forcing the release recently. This delay was was no accident. It coincided with the unconstitutional removal of Auditor General Modou Cisse, who resisted political pressure on the equal unconstitutional appointment of Thierno Amadou Sow. Citizens must ask where this move, where this moves designed to silence, the truth about how money was being looted. Cash that vanished into thin air, 2021, 65 million disappeared from the government accounts. 2022, the figure jumped to 136 million. 2023, the shocking 1.6 billion gap. 1.6 billion gap. Let's just stop there for a moment. For every year from 2021, it's been going up now, it's in billions. What do you expect would be already in 2024? That should have been out now. But because of the delay, because after when the auditors do their work, there's still a process for them to follow in order to complete their work. And that's been sabotage. Imagine what 6.1 billion could have done. New hospitals, schools, road, jobs. Instead, it's evaporated. No, it went into accounts. State House Banquet Hall, a feast for corruption 2023. The Office of the President oversaw a new banquet hall. The auditor uncovered overpayment of 9.8 million, duplicate payments of 3.3 million, an air-conditioned bill but never installed. A contractor, Alpha Media, is the media company, not a construction company. This was just wasteful as it is. When Gambians are starving, no food to eat, hospitals lack, scanners, ambulances and equipments, nurses, are suffering. There's so many priorities. Schools are not furnished. Teachers are not paid well, and every other thing you think of. Barrow decided that he needs a banquet hall for State House. That it does not mean that there are no halls there to host, and they have this green tent that they were using to host. But no, he's an emperor. He's not a president. We have all these establishments. No, they have to create a contract for banquet so that they can party. And look at the corruption. Who is Alpha Media? Who is Alpha Media? Who is Alpha Media? I've tried to track it down. The person I thought it is, the only person I know of Alpha doing the media, they said it's not him. Someone gave me another name, Modu something. I don't know who it is. But in the start, why would you give a contract to a media? And you've probably even find out that he's not registered for anything else. You move on. The Independence Stadium should be a symbol of national pride. Instead, it becomes a moment to fraud. 2022, the Minister of Youth and Sports awarded 75 million to CFTM Group, a marketing company with no construction experience. Another bidder offered the same work for much less, but ignored. 2023 cost ballooned by 1.5 million. 153 million, as evident in the audit report, which skip bidding advance payments above legal limit and take progress reports. They ignore all that. And this person give it to Alpha Wuri Jallo, I don't know. I found out about him. What is his past track record? Someone said he used to be a newspaper vendor, whether true or not. But what we know that he was in so-called having a media company or marketing company. And what they do is easy. They take their front because they know someone. If he said that he's not related to Barrow, he must be in connections. You don't have to be related. He is in contact. They will not just jump and look for Alpha Media. Let's give you a contract for the construction of a banquet. And I can tell you, the most confident person who, you must be a first just to jump to go and say that, oh, I heard about a banquet, I heard about a stadium being renovated, I'm coming to bid, without a background in construction or anything else. You will not do that. You only do that because of someone have to, look, come in, we give it to you. And you will subcontract the contract to someone else. That's what they did. Why not cut the middleman? Why not cut the middleman? Or you went and got a Turkish company or someone else and overpriced it. That's why they took it. And nothing, because the guy doesn't even know how to run a business. Some of these things are not deliberate. Now, imagine our seas. Our sea, their loot. Illegal fishing is draining our country's resources while fines vanish. 2021, 8.7 million is fine uncollected. 2022, 7 vessels caught were released without paying a fine of 3.7 million each. 3.7 million each by 7. Just imagine. 2023, 53 million levied on foreign vessels. Only 11 million was confirmed collected. Foreign ships looting our waters while Gambians go hungry. Now, imagine that contract. We all remember the Minister of Fisheries was born to us, and we said it was arson. It did not make sense. They tampered with evidence. Dr. Banja was caught on tape, and they tried everything not to prosecute. And they tried to even kill the case of Mustafa Dabo, then from Mulligan, now Republic, stood and testified and explained how everything went. They could not do anything else. They did a plea bargain without telling the court. Sent him to light, and he's pardoned, and now he worked for ECOWAS. Because if that case was investigated, the minister, Minister Furmus Gomez, go and see the difference of Furmus before 2016 and Furmus when he was in government. Who, if anyone doubts the corruption, not only show him the document, just ask him to go and check the person who has been alleged to have done it. The fishes, that's not the only evidence here. Now imagine the protein. We're talking about, some people say the Chinese, Turkish, even Egyptian. I didn't know Egyptians were fishing in our waters. Senegalese, and the Senegalese one is even the irony here. That was done favor for Macky Sall. The minute we come into government, they did that deal. What that means is, many people think that they're giving fishing license to Senegalese. No. The government agreed that Senegalese can give license to even non-Senegalese, but they are going to carry the Senegalese flag. That's all it is. Why should we subcontract another country to give license for foreigners to this thing in our seas? We are not talking about that. We all seen what the fish meal factories are doing in the country. It's not sustainable. Now the people are going hungry, lacking that iodine, lacking that protein, and all this stuff. There's no program for 8 years that would tell you this is what we're going to do. This is what we are doing. We talk about youths not being employed. There are many things we could have done. Not thinking of relying on these fines or anything else. Yes, our Navy are not even equipped. They want to go patrol, there's no fuel. Because of this money, should have gone into equipping our Navy, keeping them, giving incentive. Now, up to the time, now the part of the Navy are involved with what? Oil bunkering. Stealing oil that are not taxed, that are not safe, selling it in the black market. And now they are used as facilitating the drug trafficking because of the government we have. Not in support of what they're doing, but the government we have. If everybody's a thief, and any other person will just try to look for anywhere they can get their business, because the economy is completely collapsed, people cannot sustain their lives. What do we expect? All this money could have gone into development. Go to Bakau. Something that the PPP left there. Brand new. Before even it's opened, the government was overthrown. They had a cold store. They had trucks that with cold store facilities to sell to Basse and any corner of the Gambia. They had fishing materials. They have boats. They were organized and everything. They built a jetty and all those things. They have machines and all. They have smoking areas. Go and look at that. Yaya Jammeh neglected because of anything that they inherit, they neglect, and these people even got worse. All the infrastructure is just gone. 8 years, we having all this money, those things could be rehabilitated, but no. Go to Tangier, how filthy and dirty that place. There's nothing been done. But go to their houses. Their children going to the schools. The big vehicles that we give them. We're spending money to buy them big vehicles, giving them allowance, clothing, all these things. And still, they are stealing from us. They're robbing us, for that matter, taking everything that we own. Everything. Now, let's go to mining. Black sand and quarry royalties remain stuck at 2027 rate. Yes, you keep the rate very low, but we know that the prices have skyrocketed. Sand, gravel, anything in mining rocketed because of they are paying what they're supposed to pay to the NPP and the people that facilitate. That's why they did not. They increased everything in the country is increased, but not this fees. In 2020, the quarry royalties were understated by 79.99 million. Understated by almost 80 million. Just imagine this amount of money is understated. That's not only it. Training fee and institutional support payments from mining companies were ignored. These are things they have to, it's part of their license. If not, you seize their license, we are ignored. They did not ignore them only because they are paying someone, NPP government, party and party militants they are paying. This is why they can maintain to build offices, buy vehicles, and be paying salaries and bribing people around. There's no independent check exists to verify export. Now, Ababakar Jawara can export any amount of sand, black sand, or probably other form of sand. There's no way we tell how much, because of that would be accountability. The system doesn't like the accountability, because they're the one benefiting. Mineral leaves outsourced and revenue leak from the books. Assets and recoveries, the Venice Act. Timber sales 2019 to 2021 proceeds from 2,393 containers worth 241 million remain unaccounted for. 241 million remain unaccounted for. But it's not only the money that's a problem. The timber being exported is coming from our forest. You see, this is why Adam Obaro makes sure the niece is the Minister of Environment and Wildlife and Parks. That's why that Minister Rohit John Manya would appoint a soldier that was Ngainako for Yaya Jammeh to be the forestry director. Forestry director. Forestry is science. It's not just for any time they can have it to be there. But the PSC, Public Service Commission, they agreed on the appointment. with all these people having their bachelors or their masters in forestry management and everything left out. Because they want an enforcer. That's why they take a soldier from Yaya James Ngainako to do that for them. Now, 251 million. Imagine what that can do. Forestry. Go and look at our forestry. The best of times of forestry management started from Jawara's time. The Kabafita, Kafuta, almost every region. We all seen how Nyambai and all those places started to be sustainable. The Malina trees and all those kind of things going on. But when the Yajame came, well, what happened? And now most of this is coming from customers, in fact. Most of this timber they're exporting is from customers. But again, Haji Bani Sissoho was one of the people in charge of collecting this money. Who is Haji Bani Sissoho? An executive member of NPP, who owns Star Media or Star FM, they call it, and other media houses, who is taking contracts, who have a monopoly on NAWEX, delivering, supplying NAWEX everywhere. Before Barrow, he was nothing in search. Barrow came, all these contracts are given to him because of the kickbacks going back to Barrow. Haji Bani Sissoho was given, to receive these monies. When we have institutions responsible for collecting government money, a private individual, NPP link, supporter, mobilizer, executive member of NPP. And now they want you to believe that they raised 24 million in Spain. If anyone say it, tell that person that they are liars. Public we come to Megabank sales 2023. The bank was sold for 921 million, but only 896 million was disclosed. The missing 24.4 million bypassed treasury oversight. We know who that went to. And they sold Megabank to themselves. For themselves. The reason they removed the then Bakari Jammeh, I think, central bank governor, because he refused to sell the bank to Barrow's cronies, Wage, and these Congolese and Cameroonians. And they loot the bank and they sell it. Now, even what they sold it for, 24 million, was not passed on. Janet Commission 2023, the amount never reflected, at least 43.7 million in recovery. You see, this Janet Commission is the worst an example of what Barrow does. All these things been covered. Public wealth is being sold at a discount or simply disappeared. Duty waiver, billions in hidden giveaway. 2022, duty exemption worth 2.89 billion hidden from accounts. Who are they giving the duty waivers? They are people. NPP donors, supporters, kickbacks, so that they build and have money to spend and steal elections. Bribe their way out. 2023, Jar Oil unlawfully received 29 million despite not meeting eligibility rules. The same Jar Oil that would come, Mandama, Amdina, it's a lie. They are all corrupt. It's a lie. Revenue means for schools and hospitals. The bigger picture, 3 years of audits reveal a pattern of billions are missing in cash, procurement fraud in stadium and banquet halls, etc. Timber, fisheries and mining, revenue loss, asset sales and duty waivers were manipulated. While Gambians suffer, rising prices and poor services, the nation money is drained into pockets of the few. Why this matters? 2026 is not another election year. It is a reckoning. Gambia must ask, where is the missing rice, timber, money, fish, fines, mega bank, balances? Why unqualified company, winning $1 million contracts? Why are billions hidden in waivers? Why hospital lack beds? Every dollar you lost in is a classroom or not built, a road not paved, a family left in poverty. This is the situation we have. We can go on and go through the report. It's just a similar thing. I'm glad that other people are interpreting in other languages. We are doing programs in other languages. But this is where, again, before I close, this is where the difference is. Again, let me take an example of passive. And why I keep on taking example of passive. What passive did was not rocket science. If anyone studies politics or good student of history will understand what an anti-establishment should be. Political change comes in many aspects, but when it comes to the realms of democracy and processes, we should understand that you either win within the establishment or win outside the establishment. Now, people that win within the establishment, that are most cases two-party states. Two-party states mean, like in the United Kingdom, what you have is conservative and Labour. In America, you have Democrats and Republicans. In the Gambia, you say you have APRC, you have UDP, or you have NPP, you have UDP. Which might change this time out. That's a discussion for another day. In Senegal, you used to have the same thing, two-party states. And every other country was two-party. Now, if you are a student of history or politics, you understand then, in theory, how one becomes an anti-establishment party or a movement to bring about change. In most cases, anti-establishment in South America and other places become an armed struggle. Because they cannot win in the realms of democracy. The democracy space is not enough. One way they could do is come through the barrel of the gun, and they will change, because part of the struggle, they will have a political win. And that political win will come to when they have a ceasefire and negotiations, then they will be represented as a political party. Now, in where there is democracy, not, am I saying, functions of democracy out there, but it's manipulated, controlled by the incumbent or the establishment, the party that interchange to take power. What happens to win is those parties you have to be part of those parties to manipulate to get into power. One way or the other. That can be given example. When people say, oh, incumbent don't lose elections, which is proven a lie. No, you have to be within. If you are within the establishment, to win an incumbent, there is a strategy you use. And that strategy is borrowing from anti-establishment, tactics to apply. This is part of, even when you come into coalition, to bring, create a critical mass to able to challenge the incumbent as an establishment. We have seen this example in George Weah. When George Weah finally won an elections, he borrowed from an anti-establishment strategy, the people that strategized for him. John Mane Weah. This is that election he won. That's the only time he accepted to use his indigenous name, John Mane Weah. Mane Weah, to be very evident. Because in establishment politics, to galvanize a base of what they call recent settlers or recent citizens of Liberia, or the other part of Liberia. This is the Muslim part of Liberia, where most of the population have come in from Guinea-Conakry and other Mandinkas from Guinea-Conakry, Fulas from Guinea-Conakry, and other countries, neighboring Mono River countries. Now he has to emphasize, in order to galvanize that base, to emphasize the way. What he was doing was, before elections, he was just trying to play the superstar and just anglicize the name and leave it like that. Then the second part was to bring in Joel Taylor. Joel Taylor was Charles Taylor's former wife. Joel Taylor, who was respected senator and have a constituents and come from the Griot family, Gribo family, tribe, and so on. And again, the NPFL, the movement of Chelsea was still kind of relevant. They joined into force, and they were able to win the vice president who ran for in replacement of Ellen Jones. The same thing happened. This is an establishment, not an anti-establishment. The same thing happened in Sierra Leone. Madabio, after 2 terms, Madabio tried before, to the point now he was broke, living in London, stranded, married to one of her sisters, Fatima Bio. We used to meet, we all know the condition he was living in. They were living on benefits, state benefits. The vice president, Selou, who come from a Pulo-Futa background, and an intellectual, from Forobe, who was in student politics and so on, they have their team to approach, because in Sierra Leone, the Mendes, the Mendes, the Timines, and all of these things are the indigenous, or termed as the indigenous. Let me use the word termed as the indigenous. Now, most of all the Mandingers, these things are termed as these things. What they did was, the vice president now, Selou, was smart, that if he runs as the flag bearer of that party, he will not win elections. They decided to come for Bill. Said, Bill, let's do this, let's run. We will finance you, we'll prop you, you can get your base, we'll get our base. This is why in Sierra Leone now, the government party, BO, vice president is Fuller, but you go to the opposition, their vice president is Fuller. Because now they are fighting over the base in order to cross the line. But this is anti-establishment, this is establishment politics. It's not about the policy. If you check, that's what I'm saying, it's not about the policy, it's about establishment, how you strategize to build this. Guess what? They won. They won. Now, that winning, now there's a betrayal. Now Jallo should be leading. Now they're trying to get Jallo out to bring in one of theirs. Even the first lady is tinkering about running. Let's come to Senegal. Establishment. Abdoulaye Wade only came to power when he shifted to bring in the other opposition parties to form a coalition. Because all those opposition parties, when we talk about tribal politics in a sense, they all came from different regions. It is a sect. That's why Nama Kajor. Nama Kajor. That's the reason they call him that Nama Kajor. He's based in Chess and other places. And Mustafa, they came together. After trying so many times, now they realize that in order to win as establishment, they have to form this coalition. They formed the coalition and Abdoulaye Wade won. The SOPI, that was the SOPI movement. Then, Macky Sall was written. Mistake Abdoulaye Wade did was, he tried to entrench himself by running for the third term, and it became a catalyst for the population to despise him. And the crackdown that he did to kill 14 people in order to run for the third term. He manipulated the system, manipulated a lot of stuff, but he alienated a lot more. Because he had the money, he had the power. He went to the Muridia movement, get them in, get this good, go do that, thinking that was enough. Yanamar, again, that's why I said you always borrow, and establishment will always borrow from anti-establishment. Yanamar became a catalyst by challenging the Tatam deal. And the crackdown on everything brought about empathy and need for change. And the Senegalese consciousness said, no, we cannot allow that. And this call for rupture to say that he is running for Tatam in order for the son to inherit. We are not going to allow that. But the opposition was very divided. But Senegal was lucky that they have a second round system. When if you don't meet the threshold of 51%, you run again. Macky Sall borrowed from the anti-establishment. When Macky Sall saw what was happening, being removed from Prime Minister to the House of Parliament, to be the Speaker of House of Parliament, President of the Assembly National, it's a very strategic, important position. But if you are ambitious, you want to be president, you have to take risk. Macky Sall could have stayed there for the term of that parliament and keep it cool with these things and even try to succeed through within. But as a politician, he agitated from that position because he wants to be a president. He was the prime minister. He was the prime minister and campaign manager for that election that they win overwhelmingly. He knows where the dead bodies are buried. He still got these contacts, his memories and everything. And he was emboldened by supporters within the system. You can run. From Parliament, he started to agitate, to go for Karim Wad. Said, look, they used to call Karim the minister for everything. Aviation, infrastructure, and everything. He was the minister. Bring you in. We want accountability for the OIC. We want accountability for this. And obviously, Wada was not comfortable with that and did the mistake. You see, at times you leave them there, they'll continue destructive, but you don't give them the liberty to have no other option than to run. Then Macky Sall was withdrawn from the position or dismissed. What that gave him the credit to appear as an anti-establishment. He went round when people were fighting in Dakar and other cities to stop the third term. He went round to unearth the treasury he had in the mobilization. The time he came to Dakar, it was a peak of the political decision. And they ran, and he was the lead in the opposition. And the opposition came together, and he went through. Now, this is what you do. If you are to win as an anti-establishment, this is what Pasteur did. They came out as an anti-establishment. Anti-establishment would be about a movement. It's not about the leader. The leader, you will need a popular leader, but the popular leader will come out within or will be brought in within. Young technocrats decided to sit down, to sit and look. No, we want change. Pasteur was not originally these people. Some of them were, the president, how to call it, Jomai, and few others were Pasteur. Usman Sonko was not in the first meetings. When they agreed in the small group, they decided each would bring in 5. Bringing in 5, Jomai brought in Usman and made a case for Usman because of the courage he have seen in Usman when they were in the customs department, that this guy have the audacity to force to ask for a union and led that union. And he was there and critical of it. He's eloquent, he looks smart, he is this, he is that, he is that. I think he is a better person to lead us. Because they know where they're going with this. And they started and they decided, look, it's not going to be an easy, it's going to be a tough thing to do, but that we have to sacrifice. Most of them dropped. Most of them dropped as they were, but they keep at it. But what made Pasteur different is one leadership. Popular leader is one thing. We'll do a program about it. Popular leader is one thing, but the thing is about leadership. Usman is the leader, but Pasteur has layers of leadership. Now, when I noticed at the case of Ajisar, when it happened, and I saw the government miscalculated and went overdrive, and I saw the resistance, and from that resistance I noticed something. that from the elections, and because I've noticed past it, from the elections, I think they will take time to come to government. I was not looking at that they would have been government, no. But what I realized is the Ajisa thing gave them government. Sonko political life could have been finished if the Senegalese government were only strategic and not overdrunk with power. They should just have made it a moral case, and then with a moral case you do the messaging, Sonko would not have survived. But the minute they went into politicize it and fabricate it and went for Sonko, I saw something, and what I saw was the belief that people have, the youths have in Sonko, to come out to defend when it was that difficult. And to the extent of saying that, look, we are not going to allow you to manipulate us. Now, you want to character assassinate him, or not only that, now you want to make him a criminal, which he was not. Morally, he was down. You could have buried him morally. But you criminalize him, they came out. I said, this is a movement. This is when you know you have a movement. And it went on. But for those people to act that way, they have already gotten a promise. They have already seen the signs of a leader in him. But it was the leadership. There are so much invisible leadership within PASTEF. You have to know them. You have to study them to understand that something wrong in PASTEF. It's not only Usman Sonko and people visible. There are also many invisible people. That's why it's only important for them. Within 2 terms, they came to government as an anti-establishment. It have never been done anyway. Never. Government change anti-establishment without armed struggle. It have never been done. Now, what made the difference is policy. Policy. And how to advocate that policy. Policy can be good as they are, but you have to know how to drive it down. I say, if you have the leadership, it's policy. And this is what PASTEF did. They have their visions and everything, they work on it. Down, still in 2022, following up, reading up, and so on with PASTEF and same thing, and some of the things were not adding up. I went on to a study tour. I spent 3 weeks in Senegal and traveled, to certain regions that I knew were going to make the difference if PASTEF is to survive or to win an election. Because I've seen that PASTEF, they don't want to overthrow the government, they want to go democratically. You look at their constitution and everything, political party constitution, they said it. They want to do it properly and democratically. One thing that's because what they're saying is, if we do it any other way, we are not going to sustain them. Then we are bound to be illegitimate, and if we are illegitimate, we will lose power. When you are illegitimate, you lose power. This is why they should be feared. People are saying, most of their followers, they don't understand. Oh, they are too slow. We want to let them arrest everyone. They want to arrest them, but it's not those emotions that carry them. They have looked into it. We have to go through these processes this way. Now, I went through the Salon, Jollof, Ligues, Fouta, and all this. It was important to do that. You go, you find leaders that you never heard of who are passive at every level. And this is not only leadership because of the glorify Sonko. You speak to them. They convince you. It's about country. This is about transformation. This is about this. And it's a passive doctrine they're selling you. They're not selling you Sonko. And finally they say that it's only Sonko who can do this. And you find out with many passive people would not know. They have paid volunteers, giving them allowances if in every corner of Senegal. What their role is not about political party rallies. They have a checklist. They go around. They have to advocate. Do advocacy. They have an activity report written every week. Their supervisor of that region would, take all those activity reports weekly and make it a monthly report that go to central office. There's central office. There's someone there to represent these things, and you don't see these people. You don't know them. In every region, they take the citizens of that region. You go to Futa, you find youths from Futa, women from Futa, men from Futa. You go to Casamas, the same. You go to Jollof, every other place. This layer of leadership, what it did was what? To the point of, when Pasteur came out to say 54% win, outright. If they were in government and say that, people say they stole the elections because of this system. They know the amount of resources to dedicate to Futa. They know what they're targeting in Futa. They know what village or what area they want to target in Futa. They're not wasting resources and people to advocate for that. They know the percentage they're looking for. They might just be looking for 3% in this constituency. Last time we had 1%, or we have nothing. And this is the heartland of Macky Sall. We want 3% or 4%. Then we have to minimize the resources. They go on to, and Futa is not populated. Remember. It's not like case of America. No, it's not populated. Now they go to the most populated area, Tuba, millions. They go into the ideology politics. Take the passive programs and work it out. These are Taliban working it out as the doctrines of Serin Tuba. This is saying that this is the same thing as it says in the Hasidah. They'll show you a positive policy and pull out the Hasidah and say, look at it. This is what Serin Tuba would have done on agriculture, on this, on morality, on that, on that. Tuba was Macky Sall. Tuba is always establishment. Knowing, and some have said, if we capture Tuba, we will win because of the problem. But going up to almost every other things this is before. Kaula and others, that's what it was. Much resources was not put in Casamas because they know. The part of Casamas, they put resources where areas that they know they were weak. It was scientific. This is how establishment wins politics. To win government. They have proven that. This is why, again, when they were suppressed, people would realize that. People would not realize this. Because the only active part of passive was those who are organized to resist. But others were asked not to be distracted. That's what passive called word number. When they were doing all this chaos, they were people. They were distracted. They have their volunteers and they are walking around for the voter registration. They were developing softwares to track the election results and everything. Not only that, they developed a hidden software that when it was matter, they deployed it. You know what the software was? They realized one thing they do is the electoral office would wait to the last minute and change your polling station without telling you. Now, people will be in their normal local polling station. For 3 hours, up to the point of polling, they look at it and say, no, you are at the other region. And do you know who they're doing to this? It's a demographic. They take the demographic of youths, knowing that these are the likely. What perceived it that they worked that out? Software, they penetrated and have the software. They would announce that if your polling station was changed at the last minute, contact us. Contact us, give your electoral numbers, we check it and we'll send you to the right place. Or if you're not sure, go to this website, check this here. They did all this when their leaders were arrested or the main top executives were arrested. Others are restricted to travel and so on. They are in prison. But while these people are in prison, they were people who were responsible, who were not allowed to be arrested. They tell them, don't get arrested. Even Jomai Sonko said to him, don't allow to be arrested. When he did the tweet, it was nothing. They just picked him up. But he was trying to keep him away as much as for him not to be arrested. That's how organized anti-establishments are. There are those people who were just responsible for fundraising. They are not to be arrested because they need them. Now, with the fundraising, these people are responsible for welfare. They go to the DNS family, lawyers, and everything, and these are the ones responsible. They have a leadership competent for that. They have leadership for the diaspora, mobilizing whatever it needs. They have leadership for the election, as I said, monitoring the election process and all that. That's why the minute they came out, they were sure of winning. To the extent that they said, Sonko said, if you are to join us, don't expect rewards in government. We are not in a coalition. That's because they know, no politician will say to you a few days before election. You have never had that because they know the numbers. They have the numbers. They said it 54%, it came out 54%. Technique almost 54%. That's what layer of leadership is. Now it's up to us. This opportunity that the opposition have, not opportunity in a bad way, in a good way, to hold accountability, they are nowhere to be found. The entire opposition, nowhere to be found. Audit reports. And you expect to win? Imagine if you have taken this audit report, going to tell the people of their starvation, their hospital problems, their school problems, the flooding problems, and every problems, and relate it to this document that the government themselves have released. What's more powerful? But you have to know the message, the messenger, and the audience you have. Concentrate your resources on this. But no, let's go for political rally. Let's go for political. We go and talk about Barrow, talk about this and finish. Or let's sit our comfort zone. This is our base. Nobody take our base. You can't keep the base like that. You cannot win on your base. No political party win on their base. That's why in America, in England, you have the undecided. You have policies that comes out, they call it giveaways. You have policies that political parties will put in to target pensioners, to target the middle class, to target this because they are the voters. Because the people who are ill-informed, minorities and others will think my vote did not count. But until you start voting, you will realize that your vote counts because they know that there are numbers that they will need. They might need numbers. In some constituencies now, it's determined by the minority vote. Conservative can only win if they can get these people to vote in. Muslims in Birmingham to vote. Or the Asians to vote. These are the things we need to know. Understand. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a long one. I want to summarize, but we have gone to almost 2 hours now. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you.